Hello, welcome to a special one. Today I'll show you my top 20 exploitation movies after reviewing every Tarantino movie. And speaking about the influence that exploitation movies has on that director, I'll show you my 20 favorite movies. Let's begin. A quick note was exploitation movies. Exploitation movies was B movies, where the big era was from the late 15 to the middle of 80s. There was cheesy movies they take not very serious, and it has a lot of violence and exploitation and sex and drugs and everything. And you question yourself, why shouldn't see that kind of bullshit? Because there's violence, and most important, whoops. Here we go. Kicking off the list with the 20th spot is Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. It's a movie about white chicks and fast cars, and there are three girls. Most of all, the boss of the group is a very, very badass vixen. She has a very tight leather suit, and it's so tight that something else explodes from her, and that is the eye candy of the movie. And that movie was a big influence for Death Proof, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and you see it, fast cars, white chicks, and most of all, this movie was directed by the B-movie master Russ Meyer. And it's one of the less nudiest movies from Russ Meyer. But in the 70s he shows us more nudity. On rank 19 is the other black and white movie on my list, Night of the Living Dead, directed by the zombie great master George R. Romero. Everyone knows the story. Zombies came from the tombs to rise upon us and eat our brains. And that movie is, if you see it today, you see, boy, what a makeup. What they did, it's just painted every actor white and some blood drops from the lips. But this movie alone was so controversial because he had so much violence. And even the zombie girl kills her own mother. What fucking stuff will we see? I want my 50 cent back and buy coffee. It's one of the first zombie movies. It's the first zombie movies where we have zombies come out of the grave, but not the other part where zombies are just voodoo dolls. And that movie was White Zombie with Bela Lugosi. It's a great one, it's a fun ride, and the main protagonist in that movie was an Afro-American. Well, that was something new back in the days. Rank number 18, oh, that's a fun one. Bad Taste from Peter Jackson, his first major movie. We know Peter Jackson nowadays with Hobbit and all the Lord of the Rings, but he has, back in the days, he has a little bit of darker side on him, and he shows us so much gore shit and so much bloody violence. Basically, Bad Taste, aliens come to Earth, wanna conquer humans, so they make fast food out of us. What a scenario! It's a great movie. You must have an empty stomach if you see this movie. Most of the scenes are so gross, particularly one where Peter Jackson himself lost his half brain and he tries to put it back. Looks like a zombie, and then uses a belt to attach it on his head. Great movie. On rank 17 we have alright, this time a little serious movie, The Warriors, directed by Walter Hill. The Warriors are all gangs gathered around to have a beautiful speech from one of the super duper leader there, and in that speech we have kind of Malcolm X kind of scenario. He's been shot after he says, "Can you dig it?" No, that is one of the famous lines from the movie. And everyone are victims. Oh, they've been shot. And one of the gangs said, "The Warriors did it! The Warriors did it! I saw them! Hunt them down! Hunt them like dogs! Get your torches and your forks!" Great 70s movies. And the one thing I love about the 70s movies is the fashion ones and the music, the whole style. It's great. We have this chasing suspense scenes, and with all the disco music in the background, this makes it awesome. Disco music makes everything awesome. And one of the other famous lines is where he has his 3 empty bottles and "Warriors, come out to play." Sorry, I have no empty bottles. And it's the same guy who says John Matrix, "Remember, Sally? I told you I'd kill you last." Yes, sir. Matrix is it. I lied. Sigomendo. Number 16, we go. Whoa, rhymes gone in 60 seconds. Yeah, the original one and not this crappy Angelina Jolie shit. Gone in 60 seconds, it's simple. We have a thief who collects different cars. Why? Because he can. And the last car he wants to steal is a Ford Mustang Eleanor, beautiful yellow with black race stripes. Yeah. And and he thinks, yeah, successful, but at that moment the cops see him, and then one of the biggest and greatest car chasing scenes in movie history begins, and it's 40 minutes, I guess, or more. I don't count it. I was shocked. Yeah, how beautiful that car scene is, and everything is real. Everything, because the director and the main protagonist are the same person, and he was a stunt driver. So, and it's beautiful to see everything where the car scenes, and you see the real people outside. It was not just closed. We drive. No, we make a movie. Please get away. No, you see every real person's reaction how the stunts happen. Yeah, that was easy so in the 70s. Make movies on the street. We have no license to make movies like nowadays and close everything. No, it was great. It was easy. So great movie. If you haven't seen it, alone for the car scene, it's worth it. Our ranked number 15, we have an Italian movie, Inglourious Basterds, directed by Enzo Castellari. So the movie is, there are a group of convicts who try to escape to Switzerland, and in the way it's so easy. No, and it's not really. In the way they have some trouble with Nazis, and they're killing a lot of Nazis, and that's a good thing always. In movies, if we have Nazis, yeah, we can counter that, because you have no hard feelings if you see Nazis die. You celebrate it. Yeah, and if the title is a little bit familiar for you, it was one of the big influences for Tarantino's Bastards. On rank 40, I have a blaxploitation movie for you, Truck Turner with Isaac Hayes. Truck Turner, a super blaxploitation movie, very cool action scenes. Truck Turner is private detective against a group of pimps, and one of the pimp lords is Yafikotto, one of the worst James Bond villains ever. And we had in that movie a female pimp. Whoa, that's a new thing. Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek, yeah! But great movie. Truck Turner, super blaxploitation, great soundtrack, great action, and the final showdown between Koto and Isaac Hayes. It's great. On rank 30, put your pedal to the metal with Mad Max. Yes, the first movie from George Miller where everything started. Starring Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson in that movie played so stiff and dry like the big vast roads from Australia. And one day his wife and kid been killed from a motorcycle gang, and okay, Max is pissed and he gets mad. Yeah. And he takes revenge, gets in his awesome muscle car and tries to kill everyone. Fun fact, the bad guy from Mad Max 1 plays also the bad guy in Fury Road. On rank 12 we have our first samurai movie, Lone Wolf and Cub Part 3, Baby Car to Haters. So Lone Wolf and Cub is the third movie of a 6-part movie, and based on a manga also, and it's a story about revenge. Yeah, with new one in samurai movies. The man wants to revenge the death of his wife and travels along with his little son, Taigoro. He has a baby cart and is full of weapons. Great movie, great violence, great choreography, and it's amazing how it's a movie in the 70s and it looks today awesome. Still awesome. This movie ages very, very well. Rank 11, going Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is a continuation story of Evil Dead, and in Evil Dead, Ash and his friends want to visit a cabin in the weekend and spend some time, I don't know, fucking drinking and doing shit, but they just discovered an evil book, a book from Satan, and every demons, Cthulhu, Lucifer, and everyone surrounds them, and most of the people get just like demons or others dying, and it sounds like a horror movie, but also it's a great dark comedy movie, and the only one who survives is Ash, and there the story begins in Evil Dead 2. In Evil Dead 2, it's the same premise as Evil Dead 1, but this time he's alone, Bruce Campbell, and it's more funnier, more gorier, and in the second movie we have the famous lines where everybody knows, movie geek knows, just like narration scene with the chainsaw and the shot of gun where he put the chainsaw and said, Ruby. For the last shot of the movie where he fights the big demon and puts the shot off in her mouth and said, swallow this. Crazy. It's more of a comedy and it's directed by Sam Raimi, where it was good. Not later directing Spider-Man. Oh, we're here at the top 10s. Oh, now that was very difficult for me because when the rank gets higher and you have so much more movies and you have to put them on the right spot, it was very difficult. Most of all, the top 5 was a struggle. Oh, I sweat everywhere and I don't know where to put the movies. But it's so hard. But start with the top 10s. On rank 10 we have the Toxic Avenger, directed by Lloyd Kaufman. It's the best movie from the Trauma Studios, and it's like yes, every hero origin story we know today. We have a little bit of goofy guy with some teeth like a horse, and he gets always bullied. I guess he was a janitor, or not janitor. He was like the nerd in the school, and from all the sport guys and from all the beautiful cheerleaders, he was all the time bullied until he just been chased down in the hallway and he jumps away from the window and he falls head on a barrel full of toxic waste, and the waste just destroys his body, it deforms his face, and he looks like Frankenstein's monster but 10 times more worse. The health side just hangs there, but he has also the strength of Hulk. Yeah, that became the Toxic Avenger with his mop and kills everyone. And my favorite scene is where he beaten up some goons and he throw him head on into a trash can and just beat the shit out of his balls. Yeah, that scene is fucking hilarious. This movie is so... Just gather around friends, get a 6-pack of beers and you have the fun. It's a fun ride. It's so awesome. Number 9, we have another horror movie. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, it's not like the Toxic Avenger, but still awesome. And the original, not the Michael Bay crap one, we know today. It's directed by Tobe Hooper, and this movie was also controversial. We know the story. A group of teenagers just want to travel America, are just stuck on the road, and they try to find help. In, I don't know where this is, Texas, Arizona, somewhere in the wilderness of America. Texas, just like the title said. Duh. And alone for that movie, I never will visit Texas, because in scenarios like these, you always see there's no fucking house. Where is everybody? No one. It's Texas. They say one of the biggest states in America. And where are the humans? Just eaten by cows? Nobody. You see just one house, and the only house you see are so rotten and decayed and everywhere spider webs and dead skulls and bones. You think, what the fuck happened here? Don't visit Texas. And that movie gave us the one of the horror monsters of cinema, the Leatherface. I also have him as an action figure. You see? There he is. Yeah. You fuck. And with his hammer and the chainsaw. And alone the first scene he appears is so fucking creepy. This movie has so much... If you see it, so much scares and so much goosebumps. It's just not like today's horror movies. They're all crap. Alone, they don't need sounds or jump scares. Alone, appearances and the timing when the monster appears makes the impact more worth. And it's amazing. First scene, the door opens. You see a fucking Leatherface with real human flesh. And the lady just screams, poof, hammer on the head, and away. Yeah, and that's it. The next hour or 1.5 hours worst rides you will have in movie cinema history. And along the scene where one girl is trapped, and in front of her is Leatherface and her family, and you see real in her eyes how scared she is or how anxious, terrified, and she writhed in agony and screamed, ah! And it's awesome because it's 70s again. You see, I don't know, was Tobe Hooper really torturing this lady? It was so real. And if you are attached to the characters, you care more for them, and you are scared in every scenario against and scream, "Run, bitch, run! Leatherface is behind you!" Worth seeing. The sequels, not really, but the original still holds up. Number 8, we have Vanishing Point, another great car movie. For the younger viewers, maybe they have seen the video from Soundgarden, Show Me How to Live. There they used the entire movie scene, but except the scenes where you see the actor, it's been replaced by the band. But everything around is from the movie, and it's awesome. And it's a hippie who drives from A to B, and on the road he's get chaos everywhere. Cars or police just chase him down, and also the media gets notice of this. And we have a black blind DJ, and he sees him as a symbol of freedom and I don't know, to do whatever you want, the true American values. Yeah, and has one of the very, very tragically ends I have seen in that kind of movie. The poor car. But it's worth watching. The chase scenes are amazing. The car they used in the movie is a white Dodge Challenger, the same model that had been used in Death Proof. Great movies from the 70s, great soundtrack, great cinematography, and yeah, check it out. On rank 7 I have Lady Snowblood. Woo! Another movie, Lady Snowblood. The story is from a girl who wants revenge because her father was killed and her mother was a victim of rapist, and she is a little baby. Yeah, she seeks for revenge. She's a toddler and already seeks for revenge. How? And after she been born in jail, and after her mother dies from illness, she's been taken care of a sword master to show her all, to teach her all the mastery sword fights and to train her as a deadly, merciless killer. Great movie, Japanese movie. It has a beautiful soundtrack and a song that's been also used in Kill Bill, the same one, the Japanese song. If you remember, after the duel with Lucy Liu. On rank 6 I have Rolling Thunder. So the story of Rolling Thunder, it's pretty simple, and it's pretty, I don't know, one-to-one from First Blood. He is a Vietnam vet who gets back home in San Antonio, beautiful San Antonio, what? Texas. One of the days where he has been with his family, burglars come to his house, kill his wife in accident, and mutilate his right hand in a pretty bad way. And because his right hand is then mutilated, he's replaced it with a hook. Not one hook, he has two hooks. Hookies. Hookshi. What's the multi of hooks? Anyways. And one of the Vietnam friends he has is played by Tommy Lee Jones. And awesome action movie, awesome thriller, and the climax of the movie, I just say Taxi Driver. Oh yes. Very, very good and bloody and gory. Yeah. 70s gory. So, whoa, here we go. The top 5 movies, the difficult ones for me to choose, but let's start it. It was hard, but let's go. Rank 5, Assault on Prison 13 from John Carpenter. Screenplay by John Carpenter, music by John Carpenter, and I love John Carpenter movies, along for the soundtrack and the cinematography he uses. It's about a police station, it's been closed down because it's moving elsewhere. But at the same time, on the other side of the street, one girl's been killed from a gang, from gang members, and his father just was a victim. And he takes the gun and kills one of the gang members, and he just ran away and hide himself in that police station. And the gang members, or the whole gang, just thinks, oh, the fucker that shot our boss down, or one of our friends, remember, is in their station. Let's seize them down with everything we had, so we take revenge. Yeah, because our friends killed their daughter, so he killed one of our friends. Yeah, equal rights, kill him. And that's the awesomeness of this movie, because at the same time they're coming a truck full of prisoners, not full of prisoners, 3 prisoners. In that same moment, the gangsters came up, shoot down everyone, and they try to hide there and survive. So police and prisoners just have collaborate with each other and try to face down the attackers, the gangs members. Yes. And awesome about this movie is the action, the soundtrack, and I really like it has this horror movie style, because the gang members don't talk, they just gather around the darkness or the trees, and it's like zombies attacking a station, and that is cool. John Carpenter perfectly captures that action scenario, but also the horror scenario in one movie, and the haunting, beautifully soundtrack along the main theme is amazing, worth checking out. On number 4 we have Halloween, another John Carpenter movie, and we all know the story from Halloween. The little Michael Myers just kills his sister at the age of 6 and spent the next 20 years in an asylum, where to find out why he had to put that act and killed her sister. And one of these doctors who tries to heal him was Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence. And I like one line he has in the movie. He says he's the devil, because I have never seen so black eyes, or in his eyes are so black it has no life. Deep shit. Yeah, everything is safe with Michael Myers, but one night on Halloween he escapes the asylum, takes a janitor's clothes, takes a kitchen knife, takes a William Shatner mask, and runs to kill everyone. And what I love about this story is the simplicity of this movie. You don't need much. You just hear a breath out of the screen, and you know, oh, there's shit going on. Michael Myers is here. Alone, when he stands there and just stares, and you know, oh, that's horrifying. And I like the movie, how they captured it perfectly captures the mood of Halloween, because the movie starts at, I don't know, 6 or 5 p.m. where slowly the sun goes down, and until the deep dark night where Michael Myers starts to kill everyone. And what I love the soundtrack, of course everyone knows the soundtrack. Again, written by John Carpenter. And what I always like, or what I ask myself every time when I see this movie is, can nobody of this city cut the fucking trees? Because everything is so dark. The street lights, you can't see nothing. It's 6 p.m. and it's dark as fuck outside. No wonder Michael Myers can roam through the night and kill everyone and nobody captures him. Great movie, great horror movie, the best John Carpenter movie, and with one of the best horror monsters or slasher killers. And it was the start of many sequels. The 2 is good, but then his knife gets more and more rusty. Number 3, oh, the top 3. This is difficult. On rank 3, I have the best zombie movie ever made. It's talking about George Romero's second movie, Dawn of the Dead. A group of people just hides in the mall to be protected from the zombies. We didn't know where they came from. The movie just starts, yeah, perfectly with zombies, with people killing zombies. That's how you... What a perfect start, and you already know what's going on in that movie. 2.5 hours of zombie action gore fest. The blood is redder than everything you have ever seen. The violence is awesomely directed, because who is responsible for this? Tom Savini, the grandfather of gore. And then because he is responsible for more of the slasher movies or horror movies when it came to effectively have mutilating or gore scenes. He's responsible for that shit. And he's also playing in the movie. I love the movie. It's it's perfect. The pacing is great. We have action scenes, and I love one favorite part of the movie is where they have spent days in the cinema, in the mall, and they just living there. And you see a montage of how they live their lives, just playing golf, or watch TV, or make cart rides, or just watching the zombies, just hitting the wall on the screen. This is awesome. It's a non-violent scene, but I really love it. And yeah, just if you haven't seen it, what's it? Best zombie movie ever. I cannot say more of this. George Romero, you did a milestone of that genre. Number 2 goes to Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. From George Miller and again in the role of Mad Max, we have again Mel Gibson. Alone the climax of this movie was very inspiring for Fury Road, because if you've seen it, it's like a copy, kind of, but awesome. Again, directed by George Miller. We have the scope of this movie is this time bigger, with a bigger budget, more cars, more action scenes, more car chase scenes, and I really like how they filmed on that day's acceleration. Just make the movie roll faster, and you see, whoa, this car goes 500 miles an hour, and really they drive 20 miles an hour. And you think, whoa, what a shit, F-Zero is not comparing to this. So the story is, there's a group that have the biggest supply of fuel, and Lord Humongous wants it. But at the same time, Mad Max is there. He just want to take a little bit of fuel, can go to the coast and start a new, more peaceful life. But no, not with Lord Humongous and Mad Max and action. And everything just collides to a gigantic, super duper epicness of final car chase scene with 20-30 cars against a big truck filled with fuel. What can happen? So, before I go to rank number 1, I just say some honorable mentions I have on my list, just like Coffee, Escape from New York, Spit on Your Grave with one of the best rape scenes I've ever seen, Zazori the Scorpion, Street Fighter, and one of my favorite guilty pleasures, Ilsa, Sea-Wolf of the SS. Yeah. So, what is on rank number 1? What's better than Mad Max? What's better than Halloween? What's better than Assault on Prison? What's better than Bad Days? Number 1 and my favorite exploitation movie is Lone Wolf and Cub at the River Styx. This movie is fantastic. It's the second part of this 6-part movies. In that movie, Ito and his little kid, Daigoro, fights against a superb enemies. The first enemies are a clan of women, just like Lucy Liu in Kill Bill with her 6 female assassins. Then we have 3 brothers who are looking very, or maybe they've been copied by Big Trouble in Little Room, John Carpenter. They're looking exactly, and they've been very uniquely equipped. No swords, no axes. The one has 3 claws. He has a glove claw, just like Vega, but on the 2 hands. The other one have a club with spikes attached on it, and the third one had Iron Fist, or Takan, they call it in Japanese. And also the clan who once at the first time tried to kill Ito. So everyone wanted to kill him. What's great about that movie is alone the scale of blood you have seen on that movie. The sword fight is awesomely choreographed, and the pacing is awesome. You don't get bored on that movie. You have an action scene, a little dialogue, action, then again action, because Ito and his boy is always on the run, because you don't know where the enemies came or what corner they just appear and try to kill you. With the katana. Soundtrack amazing, again directed by Kenji Misumi, who did 4 of the 6 movies. And it's the best of the 6. It has not the biggest body count, the 6 had, but alone for pacing and the enemies, it's amazing. And you have a bloody showdown in the desert. How cool is this? And when you see this movie, along the genre of these samurai movies are so much influenced on the spaghetti western, just like a Sergio Leone movie with swords instead of six shooters, and it's amazing. And you see the big influence spaghetti western has, just like the big close up, or you see the enemy in front of them, just stare at them and beautifully silent. Or what I love in that kind of movies is the respect each other have. Even the enemy, or the enemy for the protagonist. There's particularly one scene where they try to kill him, but they don't sneak behind him and just like pussies, ninjas try to kill him. No, they come in front of him, put his sword on the ground and say, pick it up because I want to fight you. That's the respect they had. And this is what I love in that kind of action. They take no advantage for them to kill one. They always try to be the same. Balance, guys. It's not like the other pussies that try and beat them up, taking 130% and you have 50 and get killed by every punch. No, we have balance. Just the samurai code of honor. And honor is the key of that movie. And it's great. And this is my top 20 exploitation movies. Have you seen it? Or have you some seen of that movies? Or have I just opened your interest for exploitation movies? Write down in the comments, or write what movies do you like, or one I haven't mentioned on that list. Or what's your opinion about my top 5? Yeah, that was it. Okay, that was my list. Thank you all for watching a long video about movies. Yeah, we all love movies. So, maybe I do that in the future, more top 20s, because every pussy makes top 10s, and I make top 20s. Yeah, live with it, YouTube. I am me. That was stupid. Okay, so long, and good night.